Inside Foos presents the FoosTalk Live Halloween Special.
It's alive! Mother! Oh, God! Mother! Blood!
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Come and play with us. Come and play with us, Daddy.
The FoosTalk Live Halloween Special. Brought to you by our frightfully generous sponsors. Brought to you by InsideFoos.com, offering monthly subscriptions with access to some of the most exciting matches ever recorded, plus live tournaments, pre- and post-show analysis, interviews, and original programming. Sign up now at InsideFoos.com. Brought to you by Protectoflex, the world's premier foosball safety accessory. Go to protecto-flex.com. Brought to you by Rodlock. Practice more, reach less. The best practice tool in foosball. Visit rod-lock.com. Brought to you by 518 Prints, one of the best printers of promotional items and foosball apparel. Visit 518prints.com. Also brought to you by Foosballers the Movie. This Joe Hestlinger foosball documentary is now available as a worldwide download at foosballersthemovie.com. Brought to you by the USTSO, helping to usher in a new era of competitive foosball. Become a member at usafoosball.com. And brought to you by Foosball Clubs USA, promoting foosball through school systems all over the United States. Make a donation today at foosballclubsusa.com.
Glad you did.
I'm glad you did.
Well, I guess that means we're all here. Welcome. It's the FoosTalk Live Halloween special, as it were. Hey, it's Tom Robinson, and my fellow ghouls are joining me. Jim Stevens from Durango, Colorado, and from Ventura, California, Adam Gilson. Hello, guys. Trick or treat.
Trick or treat, happy Halloween. The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. That was frightening.
I'm terrified.
Terrified.
Yeah. I ran around the house turning all the lights on.
It's 10 in the morning. But actually, no, it's getting dark here as well. The moon is coming out, and I'm listening and looking for werewolves.
Yeah.
One of whom is going to be my small son, Kian, who is dressing up as a werewolf. And Ari is kind of a Harley Quinn sort of
awesome.
a Joker character. Both of them are very frightening.
No kidding.
And I'm actually dressing up tonight as we're going to go trick-or-treating here in just a little bit.
Pray tell.
I'm going to be a cat burglar. So I'm dressing all in black with a black mask and a black beanie and some cat ears.
And and a mask for
Are
your
you
face.
serious?
Yeah, serious.
That's so funny. My son never does. Avery does not care for Halloween for whatever reason, but this year he finally was into it, and he picked out his own costume at Rite Aid yesterday of all places. He saw a butterfly wings and a cat ears, and he said, "Oh, you know what? I want to be a butterfly cat." I was like, "What the hell is that?" But whatever. So he got that. We got the paint. Then my wife had this great idea. She made herself a butterfly costume, and I'm going to be a cat. And we're the parents of a butterfly cat.
Oh, clever.
Oh, that's awesome. And of course, the whole cat or pillar turning into a butterfly is kind of interesting as well. That's awesome.
There's a lot of things going on here. I'm trying not to unpack it, but yeah, it's exciting.
So, and Tom Robinson, you're going to dress up as Howard Stern.
Well, you know, I actually had a chance to do the costume thing on Friday evening at the office Halloween party, which, by the way, I have to say, are the owners of our company. They go all out for Halloween. I mean, they completely deck out their house. It's a good sized place, and there's smoke machines, and there's things jumping out at you, and of course lots of food and drink and whatever. But we usually have a pretty good time. And this year, I thought, I'm going to do something really original. So what did I do? I showed up as a foosball player.
Yeah. Perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. foosball player with my big 518 foosball T-shirt on, and I've had my autographed hat. By the way, my hat was autographed by Jim Stevens and Tony Sprademan. So
wow,
yeah, I'm really official, right?
Baller.
So, yeah.
Did you bring your vitamin C water?
Well, no. I don't carry it with me everywhere. I probably should.
That's your signature.
The vitamin C water.
The vitamin C water is to Tom what the mandana is to Blake, in my opinion.
Interesting.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Hey, guys, one of the first tournaments I ever worked back in Oklahoma, I want to say 1994, 1995, was the Halloween Open. And it was held Halloween weekend, or what was close to Halloween weekend, every October for several years. And it was a lot of fun because on Friday or Saturday night, or both nights, many of the players would dress up, right, and compete in the tournament.
Nice.
And it was a good big tournament. I mean, it was a kind of a state event, but it was nationally attended. So a lot of the biggest names in the sport, you'd see them and you'd say, "Oh, there's Tommy Atkinson and there's Steve Murray," and they'd be dressed up as Superman or
right.
A black cat or whatever. But those are great memories from early in the days of Inside Foos, where there were Halloween Open. There was also a Halloween Open up in Wisconsin for a long time. But it's something, and I remember going to Halloween foosball parties back in the 80s when everybody would come dressed up and then play foosball and have a good time. And so a lot of memories attached to, as far as foosball is concerned, to this particular holiday.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine being in costume and playing, but I it's worth it. As everybody else is playing by the same rules. Sure, why not? Well, so this is, of course, the FoosTalk Live Halloween special. So we're foregoing a lot of the normal things we usually do, the IPA of the week, and we're foregoing the flashback and that kind of stuff. And it's all for the cause. It's all for the cause of the holiday. And so we have a very special, I guess you could say, version of the top 5. That's the one thing we are going to stick with this time. And the top 5 scariest moments in foosball. So what do you think, guys? You want to give this a try? Have you got your lists? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, and again, these lists are so subjective, right, Adam? We all always take it from different angles. What does that really mean to us? I came up with a list from basically my perspective as a player and as a commentator, and I don't know what you're doing. We never know what the other person is doing as far as their lists are concerned. But there's a lot of different ways we could go with this, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, well, What do you say? Well, let's celebrate Halloween here with the top 5 scariest moments in foosball.
FoosTalk Live presents the top 5 scariest moments in foosball.
I always ask that of all my prey. I just like the sound of it.
Quite a good scene, isn't it? One man crazy, 3 very sane spectators.
I'm scared.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Well, Adam, would you dare to go first when it comes to the top 5? I can guarantee you it's we'll scare up some interest, I think, with this. So, what do you think? Are you ready to launch into this?
I think so.
Let's do it. I'm still sort of shaking and have goosebumps all over, but I think I can perform under any circumstances. I'm ready.
All right. Well, here's the very first one then.
We begin with number 5.
All right, Adam.
My number 5. My number 5 is the tug. There's a story around it. It's a dark and stormy night at your local DYP, and you just found out the liquor license got revoked. So you're going to be playing Foosball Dry that night on your only Friday out. Ooh! And then the draw is put up on the board, and you've drawn Wally McScrubnoob. That's your person. Nobody even knows who he is. You've never heard him. Nobody's heard him. He doesn't even know who he is.
McScrubnoob?
McScrubnoob, yes. 2 B's. And you convince him, you beg him to play back so you can play front. Fine. You play your first game, barely win. The second game goes not so great, and you're in your third game. and you're not playing good up there. You're not catching. You're not doing well. You know you can play, especially after you just mouthed off to Wally McScrubnoob. And then you feel it. Your shirt sleeve, the tug. You call a timeout. You look back. It's Wally McScrubnoob tugging on your shirt sleeve saying, dude, we should switch. I got this. And in your head, you're screaming, no, you don't got this. But no, the tug persists and wins out. You switch. He gets the ball up on his 3 miraculously. And what does he do? He sets up a rollover back pin. Ooh. And scene. That's my number 5, the tug.
Wow.
That is frightening, and it's something we've all experienced.
We've all.
The hair on the back of my neck is standing up, man. Wow. Jim.
Yeah, my number 5. You know, I've been doing this gig for a long time. Started in the early 1990s, and I've traveled all over the world and set up cameras and set up equipment and commentated matches, etc. But you know, there's been a few nightmare scenarios during the course of that career. I remember 2019, you know, the Women's World Cup final. Some of my favorite ladies. You know, we do the match. They win the championship. Team USA wins. I do an interview with them, and we go back and we find out there was no audio on that interview. Another time, I'm in probably Oklahoma. I don't doubt it's Oklahoma. A lightning storm shuts us down completely. You know, what are we going to do? You know, no electricity. I'm trying to stream out to players all around the world. Frightening. One of the most frightening things certainly is when Mark Torres shows up in the booth at 10 p.m. on a Saturday, and I feel a tap on my shoulder. I look around, and there's Mark. No, Mark, no. But the worst one, and this is really seriously the one that has caused me the most discomfort, the most stress, the most frightening thing in the history of my career, is when we have no internet. Or we have bad internet. You know, I've got an obligation to go out and stream, right? And I test the internet, and it has an upload speed of 0.2 megabits per second, and I'm no. Or the internet drops, and we don't know why. You know, we have no idea why it does. You know how internet is, right? Yeah, but it's frightening, and there's been, and literally, I'm serious about this, the most stressful thing in every tournament I go to the first day, I make sure I've got good internet. And once I do, I breathe a big sigh of relief because I've got that out of the way, making sure we have internet, because it is the biggest source of stress and fear for me at a foosball tournament.
Wow.
Is the internet.
Please tell me there's a happy ending. Please. I need to know. This is, yeah.
Sometimes there is, Tom. Other times there's not. That's my number 5.
All right.
Now, here's number 4.
So you're at your big tournament that you've been training for, and you're sitting in the bathroom stall there at your tournament because you got a little too crazy with the chili cheese dog earlier that morning that you shouldn't have had for breakfast, but it was all that was there in the banquet room. So you're sitting there, and your phone, you get the message that it is time to get to your table. So you finish up as quickly as you can, and you run out, and you start heading towards the tournament hall, right? You're running down the hallway, but the hallway keeps getting longer and longer, and you are running slower and slower, and then your phone rings at your partner. Where are you, dude? Where are you? And then you're getting recall warning. There's forfeits. You're losing points. The games are getting over. You keep going. Kids are popping up out of nowhere. They're throwing cans of soda at you. You don't know what's going on. Your nose is starting to bleed. Your stomach is gurgling. You're in the wrong hotel. You finally get to the hotel next door, and it's not even the right one. And you go one more over, and there it is. You finally get to the tournament room, and you run up to the table, and you wake up. And it was all just a nightmare.
Oh.
And you're in your beautiful, cozy hotel room at the venue. And then on the nightstand, your phone starts ringing. And what do you see? Forfeit warning.
No.
That's my number 4.
No. Cans of soda?
Here's Johnny. No, that was really frightening. Well done. That extending hallway. I've experienced that. Oh, yeah.
Right? I had those kind of dreams.
Yeah, my number 4. It's similar to Adam's number 5. What was his name? Skippy McScrubbly. What was it?
That's his cousin.
No, you're at you're at a DYP, and all of us have played a lot of DYPs, right? And at some point in my life, certainly early on, I kind of counted on that money a little bit. I was looking forward to winning that $50, right? Back when $50 was $50. And then you're excited, you're ready. You could draw, you could draw a top pro master. You could draw a guy that you've had success with in the past. But then you look and you see you've drawn the name of somebody you do not recognize. Who is this person? It could be anyone. We know nothing about this person. Where are they from? Did they come off the bar stool? Have they ever played foosball before? They could be a carpenter. They could be a construction worker, or they could be a serial killer. You just don't know, right? You do not know. And you think, okay, I'm a good DYP player, very experienced at this. I'm going to do my best. And the guy walks up to the table, and yes, you look at him, you go, yeah, this guy could be a serial killer. This is the guy that the neighbor always says, oh, he's such a nice person. You seem good. Seem like a good guy. Always said hello to me. And those are the types, right? Those are the types. And so that was always the most frightening thing, especially when you're counting on the money, right? You need that. You could use that $50. I'm kind of, I'm working, but it's not really, I want to play foosball. I'm playing 5 or 6 nights a week just so I can get out there and be a pro foosball player. And those it was scary. It was frightening. It happened to all of us. However, to put a positive spin on this, oftentimes those turn out to be great experiences, don't they? You end up finding, hey, I got chemistry with this guy or gal, and this is fun. It's their first time, but they're good listeners. You tell them Plan A. You know what Plan A is. Every time you say Plan A, that means yes, I've switched back here to defend. You're up there at the forward position. If you get that ball, you call timeout and bring me back up. Unlike Adam's nightmare scenario. They call timeout and they look back. Is this what you wanted? And you say yes, and then you hop up at forward and you're able to be that power player, to do it at goalie, do it at forward, have fun with this person, have a couple of beers with them. They have a great experience, because isn't that important? It's important to give these young players a great experience. So for this particular one, number 4 on my list, it has a happy ending. I draw somebody. Thankfully, they're not a serial killer. They turn out to be a pretty cool person, and nice. You have fun with them, and you end up finishing 3rd with them and taking home $12.50. And so it's nice. For me, it's a happy ending. It's drawing that first-time player, which can go either way.
We continue with the top 5 scariest moments in foosball with number 3.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
So, you go to the bar, the hotel, the tournament site that you're at, or maybe if it's even your local DYP, who knows? But there's a bar involved, and you sidle up to the bar, order a drink, and it takes a little longer than normal to get it, and then you hear it. You hear somebody say next to you, "Back in my day, we used to bring our own drinks in. And I'll tell you one thing, Sonny, the way we used to shoot was we'd be blindfolded and we'd use our left foot. And we'd have pearl onions tied around our necklaces at the time because that was the style. And I don't like the way you shoot with your wrist." And this goes on under a stream of yeahs and oh my and oh, okay, cools that you put out to try to deflect this back in my day monster. And what happens? All that does is feed it, and it gets bigger and goes further back in time, and there is no escaping it. But here's the thing. The camera zooms back, pans out, looks down, and it was you all along, because one day we're all going to be back in my day monsters. Count on it. That's my number 3.
Oh my
that
God!
Was scary,
how many national champions have we met over the course of our lives? He was a national champion. He was a great player. I think he was a pro player. Yeah, what's his name? I pretty much know every pro player for the last 35 years. Who was it? Yeah, we've all met that guy, and we do turn into that guy, I guess, eventually, don't we? Yeah, that's scary, man. That is.
You know what? That was. Just to say, that was number 3 was inspired by something that Floyd Kika out of Southern California, a great fooser, said to me about a year ago, or a year and a half ago. He said, we were having a conversation. He said, well, that's how it was back in your day. And I was like, what? And then I realized that was 22 years ago that we're talking about. So yeah, I guess so. Anyway,
22 years.
Old.
That's the real nightmare.
Love it.
You know, my number 3, right? We've all been there. I think we've all been there. You know, you get up on Saturday playing open singles, open doubles, and you catch fire. You are on fire. You can't lose, right? You're playing the foosball of your life. Everything is clicking. The 5, the 3, my defense, my decision making, my table management. Man, this is fun. I'm heading through that winner's bracket, one match after another. Oh, 4-4, 5th game. I pass it. I get it. I call timeout. I score it to move on to the quarterfinals, the semifinals. And I'm red hot. And then the last match of the night, they shut things down, right? Shut down for the night. You head back to your room. You're up for an hour because you're still wired and thinking about how great you've been playing all day. Before you know it, that alarm's going off on Sunday morning, right? You wake up. Oh, God, I'm tired, but what a day it was yesterday. You grab some coffee, you have a little breakfast, you head back to the table, you play your first match. And you don't recognize yourself. Who is this person? Yesterday I couldn't miss. Yesterday everything was going well. Today, it's like, what happened? I'm a different person. I can't find that magic again. That feeling I had yesterday, that confidence, the success I was having on every rod. What happened to it? And you lose your next 2 matches, and you're done. You finish 5th, and you're thinking, man, yesterday I was thinking I could win this thing. This is gonna be my first major title. I'm playing great. Nobody can touch me. And today, I went from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde and then right back. And I can't even compete today like I did yesterday. Nightmare scenario. It's happened to all of us. Happened to me for sure. Just red hot on one day. Stone cold after getting a night's sleep the next.
You know, I'm not
three.
gonna sleep for days now because of that. That just took the that was
It will happen to you too, Thomas.
One can only hope, right?
Here's the second most scary moment in foosball.
I don't know how many of you have experienced this feeling, but this is a moment that has happened to probably all of us at one point or another. And it's the single worst feeling, the second worst feeling for me in all of foosball. Here's where it happens. You're sitting high and mighty on the winners of the winner's side. You got the king seat. And it's finally the finals. You've been training, you're ready. You put out so much time and effort and money into going to this event, and you're there. You're 2 wins, 3 wins away, and that's it. And you've got the buffer, you've got that cushion of the winner's side, so that's fine. And then you lose. Some things don't go your way, it's evenly matched, but then you're in the second set. And you think about it in between sets, and you think, okay, well, I got to dance with who brung me. I'm here for a reason. And then you lose the first game of the second set. And then the moment happens. The nightmare of the self-perpetuating dip, where you start questioning yourself, your ability, your skill set, your even reason for being, because you're thinking, well, this isn't going the way it should. It's not going the way it should be planned. I planned it. And then you say to yourself the most damning phrase in all of foosball. You say, oh, I'm not going to get dipped. Now, the second you say that, that's like saying, oh, the traffic's really good on the 405 today. Or, wow, the weather's really nice. Or that bear's not too close. The second you say that, you're screwed. And for me, number 2, the nightmare of the self-perpetuating, self-fulfilling double dip.
Oh my God. That is frightful.
Oh my God.
Top that,
okay,
Jim.
Got to pull myself together.
That was emotional for me because that's happened to me more times than I can count.
Yeah. You're preparing for a tournament, right? You're doing your reps, practicing your ball handling. You're playing the local DYPs. You're ready. You're coming into an event. You step on that table prepared as you could possibly be in this tournament that has 256 players in it, in singles, 128 in doubles, whatever. And you play, you're ready, and in this huge bracket, you lose in the first round.
Man.
And you look at the bracket, and there you are. You're one segment over on the left side in the loser's bracket, sitting at 256th or better, knowing that you're ready. You can win this thing. I'm prepared. I'm as good as anybody in this field. But I just came out cold. I went up against a hot team or whatever, and now I'm in the loser's bracket.
Oh.
And most of the time, maybe you work your way back. You win a few matches against some teams that actually deserve to be there in that first round, second round of the loser's bracket, and you get back to 17th through 13th. But you're kind of worn down now. It's been a long haul getting back. I mean, it's tough mentally. It's tough physically. And you end up losing. But every once in a while, and it's happened with me as a commentator, where they'll come in and they'll say, yeah, I'm in the finals, Jim, and I lost in my first round. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And oftentimes they come into it and they win it because they've come back to that loser's bracket, developed momentum. It is possible. It is possible to come back and win the tournament after a first match loss. But when it first happens, it's as scary as it could be. And it's a very frightening moment for you when you look at that bracket. And again, happy ending. A team can come back. I know my wife one year at the Tornado World Championships in 2009. She draws Frederick Collignon in this big DYP with 220 teams. And she's like, I drew Fred. First she thought she drew Killian, his son. Because what would Fred be doing in this DYP? Then she finds out she draws Frederick Collignon. I drew Frederick Collignon. And they come out and they get killed the first match, losing 2-0.
Oh.
She said, yeah, I scored 3 on myself. And but they came all the way back through that huge bracket and ended up winning. And she actually hit a couple of shots in the finals, etc. So it does happen. But man, it is a scary moment when you lose that opening match of a big bracket tournament.
You should be writing for Stephen King. That's all there is to it. I mean, that really got me going there. And
my blood curdled.
Yeah, but the best part about this is there's nothing quite as sweet as the double dip. The end.
That's true. And coming back from that distance.
Depending on which side. Right.
All right. Are there more of these? Do we have more of these? These are fun.
I think so.
We could have done a top 20 of these, I think.
Yeah. No doubt. Well, what do you say, guys? Are you ready for the final step here?
Ooh.
It's a long one, but let's go ahead and see what happens.
Finally, we have reached the #1 most scary moment in foosball.
Oh, I got a live one here. So my #1 is deeply personal. Those that have maybe listened to the shooting the shot that I did with Clay Toomey a couple weeks ago know that I was into foosball a lot between 99 and 2005, but then I got out because mental emotional issues were just kind of plaguing me. But the way that translated over into foosball was a way that I only recently learned about what was actually going on. This is a term that I know in baseball. It's called the yips. In gymnastics, it's called the twisties. And for me, what happened was I couldn't shoot a rollover pull side anymore. I literally, in 2006, went to a tournament and tried to shoot a pull side and punched myself in the face. Like I couldn't, like it came up my hand, like I just couldn't do it. This is something that I had done probably, tens of thousands of times by that point in my life. And it locked, every single part of me froze, everything, it was terrible. There was nothing I could do about it. The change, everything that I did, every mechanical thing that I knew how to do, did not work. That's why they call it the yips. That's why, what was it, Ron Say, or who's the guy that would throw a ball?
Steve Sachs. Yeah, Steve Sachs, the second baseman.
Yeah. He just launched the ball, trying to throw it to first base, and just launch it into the stands behind the first baseman. That's the yips, and that's what I had. Now, this has happened on small amounts on different rods, of sometimes like my 5-bar or whatever, but for the most part, in 2006, this is what happened. And for me, and I think a lot of people have experienced this, the yips, and I don't know what the foosball term is for it. I don't know if there is one, but the yips sounds fine to me. But for me, #1 is the yips.
Yips, and it's not a yippee, that's for sure. And I've had the yips too. I've not been able to shoot a dink. Not that I really had to, but
wow,
no, I just
big
could not execute the dink.
You guys,
it's
again,
after midnight.
Nightmares.
It's after midnight at a foosball tournament. Late on a Saturday night. Players are ending their days. The matches are ending across the room. Players are abandoning tables, heading back to their hotel rooms. The lights in the ballroom are dimming. Except on table number 1, where they've called the rookie doubles final at 1:30 in the morning. Because it's Frank and Vlad versus Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger, and Myers has to catch an early flight home. And so they're running this tournament, this final, at 1:30 in the morning. And I'm, being a videographer and a commentator, and I've been doing this now for three days at this event, wearing myself out, tired as heck, been there since 10 a.m. that morning, hoping to get some sleep tonight. But they've called the rookie doubles final. And of course, the goals are coming slow. It's like getting blood from a skeleton, each goal taking forever. It goes 4-4 in the first set, and I'm up there commentating and thinking, please score this. As the clock continues, the hands of the clock continue to revolve. Second set, because he misses it, and the other team scores. And then they take 20 minutes in between sets before they start the second one. The hands on the clock continue to turn, and I'm there thinking, man, I need sleep. I have one more day tomorrow, all these big finals taking place. It gets later and later. Of course, it goes 3 games. Second set, 4-4. And I look up, and players are coming through the doors. So this match has been going on for 6 hours. No one can score. And I volunteered, being Mr. Nice Guy, to sit here and do this match at 1:30 in the morning. It's now 8 a.m. with players starting to come back into the ballroom. And then thankfully the alarm goes off. And yes, I too was dreaming the whole thing. Oh. However, that's actually happened many times to me, where it is late at night. Yes, and it's
this year.
Inevitably, those matches go 2 sets. Inevitably, they're defensive struggles, and as the match goes on, I get tighter and tighter, and pretty soon, it's just too much and my head explodes.
Wow.
But that's for me. Number 1 is that late night match called, usually in a rookie or amateur event, that just goes on and on throughout that long and dark night.
And this brings to mind this year in 2021 at Texas State's. I think that happened to you.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
You mispronounced Noah Rosenstein when you said Freddy Krueger.
Yes, yeah. Happened up in Portland as well. It did happen. It's happened a couple times this year, and and that's fine, and it's great, and but it's difficult. So,
Well,
I feel like doing this top 5 tonight has really gotten a lot out of my system. I know you've worked through some things during this process as well, Adam.
Yes.
It's funny in literature, and when you're doing a critical analysis of things like literature and movies and things, you often look at the monsters we create in those stories and think of how they represent the social anxieties, like zombies are representative of consumerism, and you've got you could go on and on and on about it, but it's interesting the things that we have anxieties over about foosball and how they relate to, kind of the substrata of the psyche in which we all exist in that realm.
There was a time when I was still working, on a regular basis on the air. I had what was called the DJ Nightmare. The DJ Nightmare. Basically, the scenario is you're in a familiar studio, but everything's been rearranged, and you can't find the music, and the song is running out, and you're panicking because you can't find the next record to queue up to keep it from going to dead air, which is scary, very scary. But that's it still happens after all this time.
Yeah.
The human psyche.
Well, that was a lot of fun, and everybody listening, I hope you have or had a great Halloween night. And as we move into the holiday season, as we kind of wrap things up, as far as the 2021 pro foosball season, of course, the Colorado State's coming up in a couple of weeks, and we'll be there. Inside Foos will be there covering it live. We're all looking forward to that. And in Virginia next week, there's a Bonzini event. And I know Tom. Oh yeah, hop in the car and head down there.
Man, dude. I'm half on the way out. I mean, I'm really thinking about that because it would be a blast. Cool. That would be a blast.
Nice.
Yeah. Bring back the old days.
For sure. Scary show tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Truly frightening. But again, I think we've kind of worked through some things. I feel a little bit better about it, but now I've got to go out and see the real monsters on Halloween evening.
And those who aren't trick or treating like us, I would say, you know what? There's more to come. In fact, we have coming up in the very few moments here, we'll be hearing from Michael Stahl Jr. And he's going to be giving us a recap of what it was like promoting and, of course, putting on the Michigan State's championships that happened last weekend. Michael sounds like he's elated but tired. But
it was a huge turnout, right?
Yeah, no, 160 some odd players.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and it's scary. Speaking of scary, it's scary running tournaments and being the promoter and being the person responsible for everything. That might have been that might be his number one. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt about it. No.
So I have so much respect for promoters and people that do that because I would never touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No question. I think it's certainly something that you've really got to have your eyes open when you walk in. And I got to say, in Michael's defense, he also played and won open singles. So,
amazing.
Yeah. He's a polymath.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. And as we'll hear in the interview, he's elated, but at the same time, pretty worn out, and hopefully he'll regain his strength very soon. But looking forward to that in just a few. And by the way, guys. Thanks for that amazing Halloween top 5. I mean, the scariest moments. I'll never forget it. Ever. Yeah, truly frightening. And I guess we'll also be talking to some promoters from Colorado State in the near future. Is that correct?
Yeah, yep. Tommy Chapman, Sherry Chapman, and Tim Walters, the promoters of the Colorado State Championships, TSK Promotions. They'll be joining us next week to talk about that event. And also, I think, another very special guest as well.
All right.
Cool.
Well, guys, happy Halloween, and thanks for tuning in. Of course, more to come in just a few.
Inside Foos and FoosTalk Live proudly present Shootin' the Shot with Clay Toomey, Tuesdays.
I'm Mariam Ali. I'm a foosball player who used to live in New York, but I recently moved to London.
Cool. So what do you do in foosball besides play foosball?
I also work for Inside Foos.
To what extent? What do you do?
I'm the CTO of Inside Foos.
All right, CT, Clay Toomey, what's the O for? Well, I'm just trying to make it. What does CTO stand for?
Chief Technology Officer.
So you're into you're a techie.
I am a techie. Although, it's a small business still, so to be honest, I do whatever needs to be done.
Shootin' the Shot with Clay Toomey this Tuesday. Find it on Podbean or FoosballRadio.com.
Yes, it's the Halloween special of FoosTalk Live. Hey, it's Tom Robinson. We're recovering. I guess it's probably the best way to put that because there's been so much activity when it comes to tournaments back on full force. So much happening all at once. Last weekend, 2 tournaments underway, one of which is, in a way, a revival. Michigan State's championships. It was quite a good turnout from what I understand, but we want to get the information as to how things went from the horse's mouth, if you forgive the expression. I want to welcome back to FoosTalk Live a co-host and a good friend and foosball player. Please welcome back Michael Stahl Jr. Hello, Michael.
Hey, what's up, Tom? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. So how's your Halloween going so far?
It's been pretty wicked awesome, dude. We've had a really good couple of weeks. We just came out of Michigan State Championships. It was extremely successful.
Yeah.
For the first year, we had 161 players in attendance.
Wow!
Out of nowhere.
160. That's amazing. Now, when was the last time this championship was officially held?
So it was officially held in Dearborn in 2014, almost a decade ago.
Wow. That's hard to believe, a decade. So you decided, okay, we got to do this. And so what exactly did you have to do to make this all happen?
Yeah. So that all goes back to maybe 2017 when I started promoting in Michigan. The sport was dying off. It was pretty evident.
Yes.
I never really wanted to be a promoter. I never really did.
Okay.
I'm terrible at running charts. I'm good with people and communication. So I had that going for me. But no one was really running tournaments around me.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit kind of fizzled out. Grand Rapids died off. Lansing had not had tournaments in almost a decade.
Wow.
So I saw an opportunity, Tom.
Yeah.
And I took it. So I got a couple brand new T3000s into my local clubhouse,
Okay.
the Nut House Sports Bar and Grill. And I guess I planted a seed there. Lansing had a ton of players back in the day, like maybe a decade and a half ago. It was really active. At least maybe a dozen pro players.
Right.
All really good players. People showing up every week. The scene was thriving. Detroit was kind of where the big boys went and played. And then, of course, we had Grand Rapids. But like I said, all of that had fizzled out.
Yeah.
So I kind of planted a seed in Lansing. It grew to be, kind of small, and it got bigger and bigger as time went on. And then the Detroit guys were like, whoa, hey, Mike's got a location he's opening up. We want to play foosball locally. And so they kind of picked up their own night. And I guess I just put some fire under everyone's ass. Excuse my language.
No, that's fine. That works.
And so it grew, and people were playing foosball again, which was great.
And now, what do you think when it comes to, because we had to kind of put things off here because of COVID? I mean, we all had to kind of go inside and wait before we could actually do any formal competition. Do you think that had anything to do with the sudden interest once again?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. People wanted to play foosball.
Right.
And in the Midwest, I think we didn't have a tournament for 8 months in this region.
Wow.
So it was a little bit untapped for the time period. Being in October, I think the last tournament in the Midwest was the Wisconsin State Championships, and they were hugely successful.
Okay.
I was looking over there and seeing 250 players show up for their state championships.
Sure.
Thinking, wow, like we could do that too.
And
because they didn't have tournaments for a while before they started doing that.
And earlier this year, going to Texas States, you and I got a chance to hang out there, and wow, what was it, 500 people that showed up for that?
Yeah, it's pretty insane. People want to get out and play foosball.
Right.
And that's pretty evident all across the country.
Yeah, no, it is truly remarkable. It seems that the interest is just, tripled because of, COVID, which is kind of, I guess you could say, it's a cloud with a silver lining when it comes to interest in foosball. So I got to ask you, I know that this last weekend must have been tiring. I mean, what did you do to keep yourself going after, 6 days continual work?
Yeah, so I actually ended up having to work 6 13-hour days before the tournament even started, before we set up on Thursday.
Wow.
To have that time off, I had to work in a row all those days. And then we picked it up Thursday. We set up the tournament. I was there for setup the whole time. I wasn't lugging every table around, and in fact, I don't think I put one table together. But
okay,
I got the banners together. We organized a lot of the stuff with the crew. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Yes.
Preparing for a tournament, and this is a vision I've had for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be there. I wanted to be involved in all the different processes, just to make sure I felt good about it.
Right.
Going into it. So, I was very involved with that. Mary was exceptional.
Cool.
Like I was just thrilled with how great she was during the whole process. She rented us the tables and the software.
Nice.
And she sat there and coached me for hours, even leading up to the event, to get everything right, the contract. I mean, I did all that legwork myself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And of course, my partner, Aaron Croft, did a lot of the stuff too, the little things, pulling things together. He went and picked up some people from the airport and made sure that we had certain things done, and he helped with the setup too. So there was a lot of work that went into this, man. I was exhausted before Friday even hit.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotcha. So continual play from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Was there any play on Monday as well?
Nope. So I don't like all these events, man, at these
Right,
tournaments.
right.
So I designed the flyer, I designed the schedule, I designed the main event, Great Lakes Super Singles, because I saw an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
right? I see I see a huge untapped region of players, expert and below. I'm thinking, how can I get these guys out to these tournaments? A lot of them are underranked and inactive, and I had two goals in mind
Mm-hmm.
when I started promoting in Michigan. Goal number one is to get new players in, right?
Yes.
Goal number two was to get the inactive players to come out as well, so
Right.
that we have that deeper, I guess, infrastructure of players and passing on of knowledge. And as sure as I say it, it happened, man. We had people coming out who had not came out in a decade,
Yeah.
new players into the game. We had guys from the UP that compete in Florida and live in the UP. Dude, we had a guy from Chile
Really?
that flew in from another country to be there. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I
that's
was
awesome.
blown away
That is
by all the
blown.
different people that wanted to come out and support us.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
So, forgive me for asking this, but okay. First of all, I got to ask you, what went right? What went right?
A lot of things went right.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of little things went right. And there were some huge fires I had to put out too that I'm not
Okay.
going to go into specifically, but there's always something, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I would say that people showed up. People
Yes.
showed up from all over. That's what went right, probably the most.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I had Kristen Grogan last minute. I mean,
She's
this
great.
lady is a legend. She's
Mm-hmm.
ran some of the biggest tournaments for Mary. She's such a
Yes.
big part of the sport, such an icon as a player and a promoter. Dude, she last minute booked a flight, came in. She
Wow.
said, Mike, she's like, I actually want to help. If there's anything I can do, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And we put her to work, and she was amazing. That's probably
Wow.
one of the hugest things that went right, is we
Yeah.
had the right people helping us. Derek Brown came and stayed at my house the weekend and was the head official that weekend, and
Nice.
he did registration. We just had so much help from different people. Kristen Grogan, I mean, she helped ran the Maryland State Championships. That was
Yes.
one of the most legendary state championships for a
It was
while.
great.
We had Jason and Brittany with the Texas State Championship promotions. They came out and they also helped as well. We had Mary. We had all these great people
Yeah.
helping. I mean,
That's
so many things went right.
that's amazing.
So
No,
it
I
wasn't
know.
it wasn't just me.
The
You
last
know,
time
it was
last time we talked to Kristen Grogan, by the way, she had told us here on Foosball Radio that she was going to retire. So we're mighty glad she didn't, or hasn't.
yeah. She actually won women's doubles
Did she really?
at this event. Yeah, her
Wow.
and Mary actually won. And it's funny. This weekend was a story of promoters.
Right.
And it's just crazy. You had Jason Wicks, who was in 5 finals.
Wow.
He was in the finals of Open Mixed. He was in the finals of Open Doubles, so he took second in those 2 events. I think
Jeez.
he took first in the DYP. He beat me in the finals at Pro Singles at like a 3 a.m. final.
No kidding.
Yeah, and then he won Expert Singles. So the dude tripled. He's in 5 finals, and then
Jeez.
he got me. I did fairly well that weekend.
Yeah. No, I heard you won a big event yourself. Was that Open
I
Singles?
did. Yeah, man. I took down my first Open Singles, which
That's awesome.
I'm stoked on.
Yeah.
It was pretty great. I did not expect that.
That's amazing, especially after all that hard work and being, beat tired, I'm sure, by the time you got to the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, people told me, they were like, Mike, don't expect to do well.
Right?
And so I didn't, I didn't expect to do that well. And I think part of that helped, like not having the expectation, but also just working so hard that like I knew I had to reserve myself. And I
Mm-hmm.
think these tournaments are marathons. And if you're super disciplined going in, you can make those adjustments and maybe do well at the end of the weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and my dad won pro doubles,
Nice.
which was pretty great. He got inducted into the Hall of Fame that weekend.
Right. I meant to ask you about
yeah.
that. Yeah. Now, the Hall of Fame ceremony for this is all for the people that are being inducted into the Michigan Hall of Fame of foosball. How many did you induct that weekend?
5 people.
5.
5 very deserving people. We had the idea was to induct folks from all different eras.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Rolf Schwerin, who was a TS promoter back in the day. He ran the World Championships on TS for a number of years. He ran his promotions out of Mount Pleasant, Michigan, and was an icon for Michigan foosball for decades.
Cool.
So the dude was highly deserving. And then Tony Bacon, probably the best player to ever come out of Michigan. Best Farwall series maybe ever, Farwall Brush. The dude is so legendary. And then we had Rick Mueller and Eric Trombley, who were a promoter duo / pro top tier echelon Michigan players back in the maybe in the late 90s to mid 2000s, and they were very successful too. And then you had my dad who has won multiple Michigan State championships. He's an icon.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people look up to him, and everyone in Michigan can probably say they've been influenced by him in some way.
And he's still winning after all this time.
Dude, he played great, man. He played lights out. We played some really tough players, and he played some really good pits, and probably has the best passing game from a goalie that I've ever seen.
Wow. Well, that's saying something right there. Especially, with your pedigree now, you're really moving up the ranks. This is exciting, and especially all that hard work you're putting in, and of course now it's paying off for the turnout for the tournament. But then you're getting on the table and doing that's tough to do, man. That's really hard.
Yeah, I didn't expect it, but we're here, and I'm just running with it.
Sure.
I'm very grateful to be in the position to run these events, and of course people obviously have responded well to the things I'm doing, which is always good. It's a thankless job. I figure why not not be a promoter who can do it at a high level, but also win at a high level too.
Sure.
So I know that my skill level's there, and I think that I'm working tirelessly, and it's really helping with the discipline and just the mental toughness that comes with doing everything at once. I mean, it takes a lot out of you.
Well, we're so glad that you did it. And I have to ask you about something I noticed, some of the photos that were put out. They were great, by the way. I want to ask you about Foos Gadget's competition with the highest shot speed. Now, you guys had that set up. That was a formal competition. First of all, how did that go? And did people seem to enjoy that?
Yeah, it went really well, actually. We did a lot of unique things this last weekend that not very many people have done.
Right.
And that's kind of the goal, is to catapult foosball into popularity among the masses by integrating it with technology, so that we can make it more of a spectator sport.
That looks amazing, by the way. It looked amazing. And so explain to me exactly what was, how did you do that? What were you supposed to do as a player? Did you have to just get up there and hit a few shots and see how fast you could go? Or how was that set up?
So we had a sanctioned area on table 3 with a dry erase board where we had our Foos Gadgets girl, Ariana, my girlfriend, writing down the speeds of certain players that would step up.
Okay.
So you would get $10 for 3 attempts, and you'd get 1 warm up. And the top 3 speeds would make it into the finals.
Cool.
And then in the finals round, we made it a big deal. I think it was the top 4 actually, but anyway. The top 4 would make it in there, and then they'd have another one, and then the fastest shot would take all the money. And we had a trophy for that. We we put in the maximum amount of effort for the trophies and
Sure.
for the bells and whistles. It was our first year, but I really wanted to push that, and I had sponsors, so we were able to.
Yeah.
Had like $1,600 worth of trophies.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
Acrylic, we had some plaques, but we had mostly acrylic, which was nice. But anyway, Tom, yeah, I mean, the fastest shot was awesome, man. I made the final table.
Did you?
Yep, I think my shot was 26.83 or something like that.
26.83.
And then,
okay. That sounds.
Yeah.
Now that's miles per hour, correct?
Yep.
Now that's what we think
the way
of.
it works. Yeah.
It's
So
such a short
there's
distance.
lasers. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's such a short distance. It's hard to calculate in someone's mind. It looks like it's going a whole lot faster than 26 miles per hour.
Yep.
But
yeah, sometimes it does. But it really gets that speed pretty accurate. There's 4 very precise lasers in the goal that are, I guess, they're placed strategically so that any area in the goal will catch it.
Got
basically
Got
the
it.
speed.
Sure.
So wherever the ball goes, it's going to pass through a laser somehow.
That's neat.
Yeah, and you get the speed by that, and it's pretty accurate. We've really worked a long time to fix a lot of the bugs and some of the issues we don't really have as much. So it's getting better. But yeah, 26 miles an hour is pretty fast.
That's great. So what was the top
I think
speed?
the top speed was like 27. I got edged out. I took 4th, I think.
Wow.
But yeah, it was pretty fun.
Now, the top shooters were probably what, all snake shooters, or were there any pole shooters in there?
So yeah, it was all snake shooters, man.
Yeah.
The pole shot doesn't really hit a crazy top speed.
Yeah, right.
I think on average it's probably around 18 to 20.
Understood.
And that's
understood.
Yeah, that's pretty fast too.
Yeah.
Kevin Romero hits like 24, 25 though.
Wow, that's neat. Well, is this something that, of course, obviously you had other things that you did that were unique. Now you're going to bring these events back? Were they popular enough you'd like to do these again?
Oh, for sure. I would definitely be interested in that, and maybe kind of further develop some of the events to make them even more unique.
Sure.
That's our goal, is to be one of those state championships that just everyone wants to go to. Everyone talks about, people want to go to. We put so much work into it. We're not one of those promoters that we hire Mary and we have them come and do all the work. Like we were into it, trying to learn right with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made us successful, is that we were really engaged in the whole process.
Sure. Yeah.
The entire time.
It's like
even on Sunday.
It's like
I was up there calling matches and stuff.
It's kind of like quality control, right? It's you maintain that the level of integrity and maintain the level of quality for the players, and as long as you do that, as long as you're on top of that, then of course then people are going to say, hey, job well done, I'll come back next year. And by the way, will you be doing this again next year?
So yeah, it's definitely something we want to do again next year.
Cool.
With 161 players, we had a lot of expenses. We didn't make a huge killing at all, really, but we know that we can at least get our money back, and that's important for the sponsors.
Right.
Foosball is not a money game. Right now it's not, and you have to do things a certain way to be successful as a promoter to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And it's extremely difficult, Tom.
Well, I've had conversations with others that have done this in the past who've come and gone. One, of course, Kevin Westcott out of Syracuse, New York, super player, and he did the New York State Championships for well over a decade. And
dude, that guy's got the sexiest off the wall down in foosball. I don't know. I played him like several times in Michigan this past weekend. The dude is an animal.
Mm-hmm, He is
the
indeed.
games that I did win, I didn't think I was going to win. I mean,
Right.
the dude's a great player.
Yeah, he worked so hard when he was putting on the New York State Championships, and we're only hoping, that sometime, somewhere, somehow we can bring this idea back to New York State as well. But in the meantime, we've got Michigan State's, which I'm so glad, and I got to congratulate you on your success.
Thank you, Tom.
Oh, you're
It
welcome.
means a lot, man.
Oh, not at all. But it's the kind of thing that next year, of course, you can rely upon FoosTalk Live to get the word out for you. And if there's anything else we can do for you, it'd be nice if we could just get there and get set up. With our fledgling crew, we're just kind of organizing our stuff still, and want to get to as many of these tournaments as possible. So
no, it would be an absolute honor to have you guys out.
Cool.
We wanna, like I said, I'm getting a Bonzini in a couple weeks here.
Are you really?
Which I'm very excited about. It's one of the tables that I pretty badly want.
Right.
It's not the ITSF model.
Okay.
But it is one of the home models, and it's a Bonzini, for Christ's sake. So
Nice.
I'm stoked about that, and I'm going to be bringing my Garlando and my Bonzini to the next Michigan, and we're going to have some World Cup tables there. It's going to be fun. We're going to be we're going to be learning from this year and really making adjustments to make it that much better. The tournament ended at like 3:38 in the morning.
Wow.
And that was because we had a guy who was winning everything. I think I waited a couple hours probably 4 hours or 5 hours just to play the pro singles final.
Wow, no kidding.
I had to wait quite a while because the dude, Jason Wicks, I mean, he was having a great weekend.
Sure.
So we probably would have finished at like 10 p.m., 11 p.m., but
man,
he was a huge conflict. I mean, the dude was in 5 finals, and he was also commentating too because he did the streaming. So
yes.
We're gonna be doing some different things next year. I think that people will like.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm just kind of shocked that it went so well.
Well, we're so happy that it worked well because it would be so discouraging if you decided, yeah, man, I've had my taste. I'm not doing that again.
Right.
Right. So it's so good to hear that you're up and running and ready to go for next year. We're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, hopefully we can put it together again. I'm going to be meeting with all our partners this next week, and
cool.
We were lucky enough, like I said, to have Kristen Grogan and Mary Moore, and they gave us some really good pieces of information that I think
nice.
We're going to focus on going into next year.
Well, I got to say, Michael, I'm so glad you took some time out from your Halloween. Now, what is your costume this time? What are you doing?
So my girlfriend loves Bob's Burgers, and so do I.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to be Gene Belcher.
Nice.
So
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I went to my the Halloween party for our company for voice coaches, and I showed up as a foosball player.
That's awesome.
Had my foosball T-shirt, my wraps around my neck.
You show up with a beer in your hand and
there you
a
go.
beer cozy and
beer cozy.
flip-flops and grips hanging out of your pocket.
My Tony Sprademan autographed baseball cap, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
but necessities.
It's great. And incidentally, we're talking about the scariest moments in foosball this weekend. Anything scary happened to you in foosball recently?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Without getting too negative, it's tough. I try to keep it pretty light and positive. I don't know, man. I would say Robert Mars's left hook is the scariest thing.
There you go. I love that. There you
go. It's nasty. It comes out of nowhere. I've been personally victimized by it, and I'm looking forward to having another chance at him in singles someday.
Hey man, that's up there in the top 5 for sure. Robert Morris left hook. That is one of the scariest moments in foosball for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very cool. Love that.
He hits it at the right time too, which is important. It's all about the timing.
Yes, like good comedy, right?
Right.
So, Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time here, man. This is great for us to get caught up, and man, I'm looking forward to. Are you getting out to any of the other tournaments this year or next year, like Colorado? Are you going out to Colorado?
Yeah, I'll be in Denver in a couple weeks. I've been really blessed to play a lot of tournaments this year, and I guess my attitude has been different than before. I'm just not afraid to fail. I don't care what happens.
Okay.
I know that I'm skilled. I know I'm able and equipped to do well, and I just don't care. I mean, everything else is a bonus. You know, I'm just super blessed to be able to travel and go to as many tournaments as I have been this year, and I'm just soaking it up. And yeah, man. So I'm very excited about that.
That's fantastic. Great to hear. Well, best of luck in Colorado, and I'm sure we'll be chatting with you very, very soon on FoosTalk Live. But once again, Michael Stahl Jr., pro master player now, of course, and
I don't know about that, Tom.
Well, pro player,
maybe someday.
Yeah. But a fantastic promoter, and of course now you're in it to stay. So we're grateful to have you along, and we're looking forward to speaking to you again. And man, happy Halloween.
Yeah, dude. Happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you for having me on FoosTalk Live. It's always a pleasure to be able to jump on here and talk to you guys about the greatest sport ever.
FoosTalk Live is a product of Inside Foos, all rights reserved. Brought to you in part by InsideFoos.com, Protectoflex, Rodlock, 518 Prince, Foosballers the Movie, the USTSO, and Foosball Clubs USA. Tune in again next week for another episode of FoosTalk Live. In the meantime,
We'll see you foozin'.
What a day.